esteemed audience.
Trotsky, or as he was known then, Lev Davidovich Bronstein, was born on the 7th of November 1879 in Kherson to a well-off Jewish farming family. Pre-revolutionary Russia was heavily skewed in favor of the Tsar Nicholas II and the aristocratic elite, while the uneducated peasants and working class fell behind. Great poverty was common amongst the Russian people, and it was here on his father's farm that Trotsky first witnessed this desperation. However, the rigid autocracy of the Tsar, the devastating effects of World War I, and his unwillingness to modernize Russia resulted in the radicalization of the proletariat and others who felt like the system needed to change. During Trotsky's early life, he was exposed to this type of thinking through living with his relatives the Spencers in Odessa and his schooling, where he was exposed to socialism. While at university, Trotsky joined an underground discussion group of Narodniks, the Orchid Commune. After 1 year, Trotsky dropped out of college to help start the Southern Russian Workers' Union. In 1898, along with other leaders of the group, Trotsky was arrested and sent to prison as a radical. There, Trotsky converted to Marxism after meeting with other Marxists and reading Vladimir Lenin's The Development of Capitalism in Russia. In 1900, he and his wife Alexandra were exiled to Siberia, to which within 2 years he'd already escaped, adopting his new identity. Later, Trotsky made his way to London to join the Russian Social Democrats, where he would work with Vladimir Lenin on the revolutionary newspaper Iskra. There, Trotsky and Lenin began a political relationship. However, this abruptly ended in 1903 at the Second Congress of the Russian Social Democratic Labour Party, when it split into two factions, the Bolsheviks with Lenin and the Mensheviks with Trotsky. This began a words war between the pair, with Trotsky writing Our Political Tasks, which greatly criticized Lenin. Upon returning to Russia, Trotsky became a leading spokesman of the St. Petersburg Soviet of Workers' Deputies, which organized a revolutionary strike against the Tsarist regime, which ultimately ended up with Trotsky and other leaders being arrested. However, while in jail, Trotsky wrote what is arguably his most important theoretical work, Results and Prospects, which expounded the theory of permanent revolution. After another stint in exile, Trotsky attempted to unite the Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks, which ultimately failed. However, after the outbreak of World War I, Trotsky found himself agreeing with Lenin and the Bolsheviks' anti-war position. After learning of the Tsar's abdication, Trotsky returned to Petrograd and became a crucial player within the rest of the 1917 revolution after joining the Bolshevik Party. The October Revolution saw Trotsky and his Red Guards storm the White Palace and overthrow the provisional government, establishing a Bolshevik regime with Lenin as their leader and Trotsky taking on the crucial role of the Commissar for Foreign Affairs, meaning that Trotsky was now responsible for ending Russia's unpopular involvement within World War I. However, though Trotsky's plan of neither peace nor war was initially accepted, Trotsky's miscalculation of a German revolution left Russia with no choice but to accept Lenin's position, peace at all costs. And the cost was heavy. After this failure, Trotsky resigned from a position as Commissar of Foreign Affairs and instead took up the role of Commissar of War, which played a highly crucial role during the civil war between the Bolshevik Red Army and the anti-Bolshevik White Army. Trotsky was very successful in this role, uniting the countries the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. In 1924, Lenin died of a stroke, leaving the Bolshevik Party to find a new leader, who many assumed to be Trotsky. But Joseph Stalin had other ideas, namely to use his position as General Secretary and Lenin's levy to appoint his own supporters to create a majority, to hop between the left and the right in order to confuse and manipulate his opponents, and by making himself look like Lenin's BFF while making Trotsky look like an enemy. Trotsky underestimated Stalin, costing him not only Lenin's position, but his own position within the party, eventually even being expelled from Russia. Though during Trotsky's exile, Stalin tried to erase Trotsky's influence from historical record, Trotsky was still a threat as he continued to publicly criticize Stalin and his totalitarian regime. However, on August 20th, 1940, Stalin's problems were all over, or at least one was, when a Soviet agent fatally struck Trotsky in the head with an ice axe, ending the revolutionary's life, but in true Trotsky fashion, not without a struggle.